Fear isn't the enemy, it's a signal. Amy explains that fear often shows up when we're about to step into growth. Rather than running from it, she learned to listen to what it's trying to teach her. I used to believe that fear was a sign I was going in the wrong direction. That it meant stop, turn around, you can't handle this. But over time, and especially after losing both of my legs at 19, I realized something far more powerful. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is information. It's the edge of our comfort zone lighting up, begging us to pay attention, not to retreat. And I'm here to tell you, fear often shows up when we're standing at the threshold of something life-changing. That's what I've learned. That's what I've lived. Let me take you back. I was lying in a hospital bed, body swollen, legs gone, dreams shattered. Or so I thought. Every ounce of fear you can imagine, I felt it. What now? Who will ever love me like this? Will I ever walk again? What kind of future can a girl with prosthetic legs even have? Fear screamed these questions in my ear, but I made a decision, not because I was brave, but because I had no other choice. I decided to listen asterisk through asterisk the fear instead of asterisk to asterisk it. I stopped letting fear drive and started letting it inform. It wasn't saying you can't. It was saying this matters. It wasn't yelling back off. It was whispering, lean in. I began to ask different questions. Not what will I lose, but what can I learn? And not why me, but what if this is happening asterisk for asterisk me? And the moment I did that, fear became less of a wall and more of a compass. That's the shift I want you to understand. Fear is a teacher, not a bully. Fear is the flashlight guiding you into the unknown, into the possibility of who you're becoming. And when you turn toward it, when you face it, you take back your power. And listen, I still feel fear. Every time I tried a new prosthetic, every time I competed, every time I walked onto a stage, legs clicking beneath me, afraid people would only see what was missing. But fear was always there, saying, this is where you grow, this is where it matters, this is exactly where you belong. So I spoke anyway, I danced anyway, I dreamed anyway. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's dancing with it, speaking through it, creating from within it. That's where your real power is. So when fear shows up in your life, and it will, I challenge you not to shut down. Instead, tune in. What is fear showing you about your passion, your values, your unspoken dreams? What is it trying to tell you about the size of the leap you're about to take? If your knees are shaking, it probably means your soul is waking up. If your palms are sweating, it likely means you're on the edge of a breakthrough. I'm telling you, fear isn't your stop sign. It's your signal to level up, your permission to become something more. Let me know when you're ready for the next key point F. Redefining limitations. After losing both her legs, Amy was forced to redefine what was possible. She shares how she stopped seeing her physical condition as a limitation and started viewing it as a platform for innovation. The moment I lost my legs, I thought my life was over. I mean, how do you even begin to live when the very foundation you once walked on is gone? I stared at myself in the mirror, and I didn't recognize the girl looking back. I didn't know how to snowboard again, how to dance, how to even feel beautiful again. I didn't know if I could do anything the same way ever again. And that's when the voice of limitation crept in. You can't. You won't. You're done. But here's the truth I had to fight to learn. Limitations are real, yes, but they are not fixed. They are not walls. They are doors, and doors can open. I had to unlearn what the world told me was normal. I had to let go of the image of perfection I used to chase, because if I kept measuring my life by who I used to be, I would never grow into who I was meant to become. I had to choose to redefine what it meant to be whole, and I did it not in giant leaps, but in small, defiant, intentional choices. One step on metal legs, one awkward fall on a snowboard, one moment where I said, I may not have legs, but I still have dreams, and dreams don't need legs. They need vision, they need fire, they need belief, so I began to innovate, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. I didn't just need legs that worked, I needed legs that could snowboard. So I co-designed them. I didn't just want to walk, I wanted to move with power. I wanted to reclaim my rhythm, so I danced, and I didn't do it because it was easy. I did it because I refused to let other people, or even my own past self, define the size of my life. You hear me? I refuse to let my identity be reduced to a diagnosis. My body might have changed, but my spirit, my drive, untouched, untouchable. People will try to put you in a box the moment you face hardship. They'll expect you to shrink, to settle, to just survive, but surviving isn't enough. We were born to asterisk, create asterisk, to asterisk, build asterisk, to asterisk, inspire asterisk. Redefining your limitations means refusing to shrink your dreams to fit your current situation. It means expanding your mindset to match the size of your soul. Your challenge is not the end. It's the beginning of your creativity. It's the beginning of becoming who you're truly meant to be. Don't wait for the world to give you permission. Don't wait for someone else to see your potential. Stand up, even if it's on prosthetics, and say, "This is still my life. This is still my story, and I get to rewrite the rules." Your limitations don't get to decide who you are. You do. Your mind, your will, your heart. That's where the real power lies. The moment you stop asking, "What did I lose?" and start asking, "What can I build?" that's when everything changes. Let me know if you're ready to dive into the next key point F. Visualization as a tool for resilience. Amy used visualization techniques to mentally rehearse walking, snowboarding, and even dancing with prosthetics, proving how the mind can help train the body and spirit for recovery. There I was, lying in that hospital bed, legs gone, future uncertain, and yet I was seeing myself snowboarding again, not because anyone told me I could, but because I chose to see it before it became real. I chose to believe in the power of the mind when my body had nothing left to give. Visualization wasn't just some mental exercise. It was my survival, my strategy, my rebellion against every "you can't" that echoed in the room. I saw myself standing. I saw myself walking. I saw myself asterisk living asterisk again, and that image burned so deeply into my mind that it started to shape my reality. That's how powerful your imagination is. That's how much influence you have over what's to come. Let me tell you something most people overlook. Your brain doesn't fully know the difference between something vividly imagined and something actually experienced. So when I closed my eyes and imagined snowboarding down a mountain on prosthetic legs that didn't even exist yet, my body began to align with that vision. When I mentally rehearsed dancing, walking, speaking on stage, even when my physical form couldn't do any of it, my mind was already rewiring itself for possibility, and slowly my body followed. That's what visualization does. It's not wishing, it's not pretending, it's practicing your future before it arrives. When the world around you says, "It's over," your mind is where you begin to fight back. I want you to understand this. If you can see it, and I mean really asterisk see asterisk it, feel it, hear it, live it in your mind, you can start to create it. I visualized strength when I had none. I visualized confidence when all I felt was shame. I visualized myself doing the impossible until the impossible became the inevitable. That's how you build resilience. That's how you outgrow pain, not by ignoring it, but by giving your mind something more powerful to focus on, something worth fighting for. Use your imagination like a tool, not a toy. Visualize the conversations you're afraid to have. Visualize walking through fear and coming out stronger. Visualize the version of yourself that's waiting on the other side of this moment. Then show up for that version every single day, because once your mind believes something is possible, it starts sending signals to your body, your choices, your attitude. You start moving different. You start asterisk becoming asterisk what you saw, and that's where the magic is. You're not weak for dreaming. You're not naive for seeing a life that hasn't happened yet. That's called being a visionary. That's how champions rise. That's how healing begins. The world may never hand you a perfect path, but your mind, that's yours. That's your workshop. That's where you get to build strength from the inside out. Don't wait until everything looks right before you start believing. Believe first, see it now, feel it today. Your future begins where your imagination dares to go. Let me know when you're ready for the next key point, F. Vulnerability is strength. She talks about how opening up about her struggles, rather than hiding them, allowed her to connect, heal, and empower others, turning vulnerability into a source of leadership. For so long, I thought strength meant pretending everything was okay. I thought it meant smiling when I was breaking, being brave without showing pain, being tough without ever cracking open. But that wasn't real strength. That was performance. That was survival, and you can't thrive if you're just surviving. I had to learn through pain, through shame, through silence, that vulnerability isn't weakness. Vulnerability is strength. It's the raw, honest, beautiful truth of who we are underneath the armor. It's saying, I'm struggling, without apology. It's crying and still continuing. It's letting people see your scars and saying, I earned these. When I first shared my story, really shared it, I was terrified. What would they think? Would they see me as broken? Would they pity me? Would they turn away? But something miraculous happened. When I spoke my truth, people didn't walk away. They leaned in. They said, me too. They said, thank you. They said, because you spoke, I feel like I can too. That's when it hit me. My story wasn't just mine. It was a bridge, a connector, a mirror. It gave other people permission to be real. And that is power. That is leadership. Not perfection, but presence. You want to inspire someone. Don't show them the highlight reel. Show them the behind, the scenes, the falls, the tears, the nights you wanted to give up. Show them the parts where you didn't know what came next but chose to rise anyway. Vulnerability is where trust lives. It's where growth starts. It's how we heal. You cannot fully stand in your strength until you are willing to stand in your truth. You cannot fully love yourself while hiding the parts you've deemed unlovable. You have to open your heart, not just for others, but for yourself. I had to look at my body, these legs, these scars, these metal rods, and not just accept them, but embrace them. I had to love the parts of me I once feared people would reject. And the moment I did, I found freedom. I found peace, because what you hide will haunt you, but what you reveal can heal you. When you stop trying to be invincible and start being authentic, everything changes. Relationships deepen, purpose expands, confidence becomes real, not rehearsed, so let people in. Let them see the journey, not just the destination. Let them witness your becoming, because that's where the impact is. That's where connection is born, and connection, true connection. That's what saves us. That's what lifts us. That's what reminds us we're not alone in this messy, beautiful, unpredictable life. Be brave enough to be seen. Be bold enough to be soft. Be wise enough to know that your vulnerability is not your liability. It is your legacy. Let me know when you're ready for the next point F. Purpose over perfection. Amy learned to focus on her deeper why rather than the flawless execution. Purpose helped her overcome performance anxiety, self-doubt, and external judgment. There was a time when I obsessed over doing everything perfectly. Every speech, every appearance, every movement on my prosthetic legs. I wanted it all to be flawless. I thought if I could just do everything right, I would finally be enough. I thought perfection would protect me from judgment, from failure, from feeling like I didn't belong. But chasing perfection nearly broke me. It stole my joy. It silenced my voice. It shrunk my world, until one day I asked myself, what if the goal isn't to be perfect? What if the goal is to live with purpose? Let me tell you something powerful. Purpose beats perfection every time. Purpose is what gets you out of bed when the doubts are louder than your confidence. Purpose is what pushes you forward even when your body is tired and your spirit feels crushed. When I stood on that stage for the first time, knees trembling under my dress, wondering if people would judge my robotic gait or notice the slight stumble, I stopped myself. I took a breath and I said, Amy, this isn't about being flawless. This is about impact. This is about why you're here. And suddenly the pressure melted because purpose gave me a reason greater than my fear. Perfection says, don't mess up. Purpose says, speak up. Perfection says, don't be seen until you're polished. Purpose says, show up raw, real, and ready to serve. You don't need to have it all figured out to make a difference. You just need to care deeply enough about something that you're willing to act, even if your hands shake while doing it. The world doesn't need perfect people. The world needs passionate people, courageous people, people who fall and get up and fall again and rise stronger every single time. You think people are inspired by flawless stories. No, they're inspired by authenticity. By heart, by someone who dares to be seen trying, struggling, learning, growing. When I was training for Dancing with the Stars, I messed up more times than I can count. I tripped, I fell, I cried in the corner. But I kept dancing. Why? Because I wasn't dancing to impress anyone. I was dancing to prove to myself, and to anyone watching, that beauty isn't about symmetry, it's about soul. That strength isn't about never breaking, it's about how you rise after you do. Let your why be bigger than your fear of getting it wrong. Let your mission fuel your momentum. Focus on the people you're meant to serve, the message you're meant to deliver, the life you're meant to live. Forget perfection. It's a myth anyway, but purpose, that's real, that's fire. That's the force that makes the impossible possible. And when you operate from purpose, not only do you silence the inner critic, you awaken the part of you that was born to lead, to love, to light up the world exactly as you are. Let me know when you're ready to explore the final key point, F. Fearlessness is built, not born. Amy emphasizes that she didn't wake up fearless. She built it step by step, decision by decision, from hospital beds to Olympic podiums, by choosing courage over comfort every single time. I didn't wake up one day fearless. I wasn't born with some magical resistance to fear. No, I built it, brick by brick, step by step, choice by choice. Fearlessness isn't something you're given. It's something you earn. It's something you grow into by showing up again and again, in the face of everything that tells you to sit down, stay small, and give up. Fearlessness doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means you stop letting fear make your decisions for you. And that is a skill. That is a muscle. And like every muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. When I lost my legs, I didn't feel brave. I felt broken, but I stood anyway. The first time I tried on my prosthetics, it wasn't a triumphant movie moment. It hurt. It was awkward. I felt embarrassed, unstable, unsure. But I didn't let that be the end of my story. I went back the next day. I tried again. I fell. I got back up. That is what building fearlessness looks like. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It's quiet persistence. It's the whisper that says, try one more time. Even when you want to scream, I can't do this. Fearlessness comes when you stop asking if you're ready and start acting like you already are. You build it by taking the stage even when your voice shakes. You build it by applying for the job even if you feel underqualified. You build it by saying yes to the adventure, the opportunity, the challenge that scares you. Not because you're fearless, but because you're tired of letting fear run your life. Let me say this loud. You were not born to be ruled by fear. You were born to rise through it. People often say, Amy, how do you do it? How are you so strong? And I tell them, because I kept going when it didn't make sense. I kept going when it was hard. I kept choosing courage even when it was the most uncomfortable option on the table. That's where fearlessness is built. In the discomfort, in the uncertainty, in the moments where you could back down, but you don't, where you could quit, but something in you, some deep, fierce, unbreakable part refuses to give up. So if you're waiting for the fear to disappear before you start, stop waiting. The fear won't leave, but asterisk you asterisk will get louder. Asterisk you asterisk will grow stronger. Asterisk you asterisk will rise taller. You don't need to be fearless to begin. You just need to begin, and the fearlessness will follow. Let yourself fall. Let yourself try. Let yourself asterisk build asterisk, because every act of courage, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of your unstoppable self. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't just survive. You built a life that fear could never touch. Let me know if you'd like a speech version, F of all 6 points combined.